Have you ever wondered why some of your best ideas lose their spark the moment you share them? Or why some dreams seem to fade right after you've spoken them aloud? In a world where we're constantly encouraged to share everything, there's a quiet, ancient wisdom that tells us otherwise. One that values discretion, protects energy, and honors the sacredness of our inner lives. There was once a young man named Hero who sought more than just worldly success. He longed for depth, clarity, and peace. Restless with questions and overwhelmed by the noise of modern life, he set out on a journey to find a teacher, someone who could help him separate what was essential from what was merely loud. His path eventually led him to a serene monastery at the edge of a forest, where a Zen master known for profound silence and powerful insight lived in solitude. Hero bowed deeply and asked, "Master, in this world of endless opinions and constant noise, what are the things I should always keep to myself?" The master looked at him with calm eyes and replied, "There are 7 things that, if kept private, will protect your heart and sharpen your mind. They are not secrets out of shame, but sacred truths that grow strongest in silence." The first of these, the master explained, is your intentions. When we plant seeds in a garden, we cover them with soil, not to hide them, but to protect them while they take root. In the same way, your intentions need quiet to grow. The moment you speak them too soon, they're exposed to wind, weather, and wandering eyes, some of whom may not wish you well. It's not that others are always malicious, but their doubt, cynicism, or unsolicited advice can quietly erode your conviction. Silence, on the other hand, creates space for intentions to become actions without interruption. Many people speak of goals with pride, even before taking the first step toward them. But what they don't realize is that every time we announce our goals, we create an unconscious expectation for ourselves and for others. The master's second teaching was this: your goals are like internal compasses. When you reveal them prematurely, you invite external maps that may lead you astray. Sometimes the pressure of being watched or judged makes us abandon our original path. Sometimes the applause we get for simply stating our goal can feel like achievement itself, and we stop before we truly begin. Instead, focus on your goal privately. Let your results speak before your words ever do. Hero listened closely, and the master continued, "When you do something kind, let it be like the breeze, gentle, untraceable, and gone without needing credit." Acts of charity or generosity lose their purity when we seek recognition. The third thing to keep private is your kindness. True compassion doesn't need witnesses. In fact, it becomes more powerful when it is given freely, without needing to be known. In today's world, where acts of kindness often become social media content, this wisdom is more important than ever. There's a quiet dignity in helping someone and moving on, not because you were unnoticed, but because the act was its own reward. Next, the master spoke of training, whether it's meditation, martial arts, or any discipline we pursue. The fourth lesson was to keep your practice to yourself. Bragging about progress, posting every milestone, or constantly seeking approval turns growth into performance. The moment we practice for praise, we begin losing touch with our purpose. Discipline, after all, is a private conversation between who you are and who you are becoming. Let it remain sacred. Hero reflected deeply on his own journey, how often he'd shared his meditation goals or talked about what he was working on, only to later feel a strange emptiness, a loss of authenticity. He understood now that some paths are best walked in silence. The fifth teaching struck even closer to home. What happens in your family, the master said, should stay within the circle of trust. Family matters, no matter how difficult or mundane, are not for public display. In the age of oversharing, where people post arguments, grievances, or private stories for the world to see, this wisdom feels revolutionary. Families are imperfect, human, and emotional. Airing internal issues often invites misunderstanding, criticism, or worse, permanent damage to fragile bonds. If something must be addressed, it should be done with compassion and care, not turned into content. Wealth and possessions came next. The sixth thing to keep private is your financial status. The master warned that flaunting wealth invites not only envy, but false relationships. People may begin to see you not for who you are, but for what you own. The simplicity of a modest life protects peace of mind. Even if you're successful, there is strength in subtlety. The less others know about what you have, the less you'll be targeted for it, whether by malice, comparison, or silent judgment. The final and perhaps most profound lesson was this: keep your spiritual experiences private. There are moments in life that transform us, when we feel closer to something greater, or when a deep inner knowing awakens. These moments aren't meant to be dissected, explained, or shared widely. They are meant to be lived. The Master said that some wisdom cannot be spoken. It can only be carried in the way you walk, speak, and live. When Hero left the monastery, he didn't feel burdened with new rules. He felt light. It was as if he'd been carrying too many open tabs in his mind, and now he had permission to close them. He didn't need to share everything. He didn't need approval to grow. He didn't need an audience for his inner journey. This Zen story isn't just a tale from a distant land. It's a mirror to our current lives. We live in an age where sharing is mistaken for connection, where loudness is confused with leadership, and where visibility is often chased at the cost of vulnerability. But perhaps the deepest kind of power doesn't come from being seen, but from knowing you don't need to be. So what does this mean for you today? It means that you're allowed to protect your energy. You're allowed to build in silence. You're allowed to grow without explaining every step. You're allowed to be kind without a camera. You're allowed to be wealthy without validation. You're allowed to heal your family privately. And you're definitely allowed to keep your spiritual growth sacred. In truth, the more sacred something is, the less it needs to be shared. Not because we're ashamed, but because we're rooted in it. Like a tree that doesn't need to shout about its growth. It simply stands taller and stronger each year. The world may never stop asking, "What are you up to?" Or "Why are you so quiet?" But that's okay. You'll know that in your silence, there is depth. In your privacy, there is peace. And in your restraint, there is power. So the next time you're tempted to overshare, to prove, to impress, or to defend, pause. Remember the Zen master's wisdom, and let some things stay yours. Quiet, whole, unshaken, because not everything precious needs to be posted. Some things are sacred simply because you kept them close.